The Intamin Blitz Coaster is a fan favorite. These are long, fast, intense, whippy launch coasters. Intamin has dropped the Blitz Coaster name, now called the LSM Launch Coaster, but let's try to bring it back. Blitz Coaster just sounds so much better. Unlike most of the models I've done, most of these coasters were built in Europe and Asia, so we're really branching out this time, and I have ridden very few of these. That's good, because this video is not about my opinion, it's about the stats. Which one of these is the tallest, fastest, longest, best paced, and which one offers the most prime ride time? These are the world's Intamin Blitz Coasters, by the numbers. If you're new to the series, prime ride time normally starts when the first car picks up speed off the lift. But for this video, we have nothing but launch coasters. Prime ride time starts when the launch starts, and it ends when it hits the final brakes. With the help of Google Maps, but not the Pythagorean theorem this time, I was able to take out the brakes and the station from the overall track length. Because of this, the number you see on your screen will not match the number on RCDB. For some of these coasters, I had to add more track length because the train covers the same track more than once. Before we start, if you can drop this video a like, I'd appreciate it. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. In 14th place with 30 seconds is Nefeskesin at Istanbul, Turkey. You'll find that most of these Blitz coasters are very long rides. Nefeskesin is an outlier. Its 164-foot height ranks it all the way up at 5th, but its 1,911 feet of track is second to last. Its speed is down the list a little bit, tied for 8th, but given how big and short the ride is, you can bet it has good pacing. Covering 63.7 feet per second, it ranks up in second place, less than half a foot per second behind the first place coaster. Just looking at the layout, it doesn't really stay low to the ground. It has 3 high elements, starting of course with a big top hat, and it glides into the brakes not long after it gets started. In 13th place with 37 seconds is Shred the Sewers at Dream Island, Moscow, Russia. This is the weirdest coaster on the list, taking place entirely indoors, and it shows. It's last in every category. About 79 feet tall, less than 50 miles per hour, less than 1,600 feet of track, and it covers 42.8 feet per second, which is more than 4 feet per second slower than the coaster above it. Through all this, it packs in 4 inversions: a loop, an incline dive loop, a corkscrew, and a heartline roll. In 12th place with 49 seconds is Redfire at Korsan Adası, Istanbul, Turkey. Istanbul comes through once again, and as you can see, 3 coasters into the list and we're already at 49 seconds. This is very whippy and low to the ground, with the one exception being the top hat. That stands at over 180 feet, good for 3rd place, and it's tied in speed with Nefeskesin, hitting 68.3 miles per hour, which is good for 8th. Even though it has more than 1,000 feet more than Nefeskesin, it's still only 11th. Just watching it, it looks like it has great pacing and the stats back it up. It's in 3rd place, covering 61.8 feet per second. These Turkish Blitz coasters are very similar, it's just this one has a lot more going for it. In 11th place with 51 seconds is iSpeed at Mirabilandia, Savio, Italy. We just talked about Redfire, and that was a near carbon copy of iSpeed. I did time iSpeed to be 2 seconds slower, but that could just be the time of day the POV was recorded. These are nearly identical in every way. iSpeed is listed as slightly taller and slightly faster, ranking 2nd and 7th in those categories, but it's slightly shorter in length, good for 12th. Because it's 2 seconds slower than Redfire, its pacing falls back from 63.7 to 59.3 feet per second, falling 2 spots behind Redfire and landing in 5th place. In 10th place with 55 seconds is Steel Dolphin at Shanghai Haisheng Ocean Park, Shanghai, China. The most interesting aspect of this Blitz coaster is it has no inversions. It's a very spread out layout, loaded with airtime hills, snappy twists, weird angles. It even dives into a shark's mouth. This also has a booster launch halfway through to extend the ride. Its highest point is only 108.3 feet, good for 9th, and its 52.8 mile/hour top speed is second to last, just 3 miles per hour better than Shred the Sewers. It barely clears 3,000 feet of prime ride track, so it's better than Redfire and iSpeed, but not by much, ranking 10th. And because it's not that fast, the pacing isn't great, down in 9th place. This is not a family coaster by any means. It just focuses on airtime and off-axis hills, and it doesn't use any inversions. In 9th place with 59 seconds is Taiga at Linnanmäki, Helsinki, Finland. Unlike Steel Dolphin, this is wrapped around itself on a very compact plot of land. It stands over 170 feet tall, but its max drop is only 105 feet, ranking 10th. It starts with a very unique 0G winder, and it has a short first half before those boosters get the party started. After being launched at the top speed of 65.9 miles per hour, ranking 10th, it rises up to the top height, and it goes into some wacky turns and sharp airtime hills, but also a couple very large inversions. This isn't great for the pacing, but the pacing is still pretty good, covering half a foot per second more than Steel Dolphin, ranking 7th. It's also pretty average on length, 3,335 feet of track, which ranks 9th. In 8th place with 60 seconds is Soaring with Dragon at Hefei Sunekland, Hefei, China. This isn't really your traditional Blitz coaster. This is one of 2 coasters on this list with a multi-pass launch, so I have to account for the track traveled as it goes forward, backward, and forward again. This is one impressive looking ride. It has that enormous non-inverting loop, and no coaster on this list stands taller. 196.8 feet ranks first. Not surprising, it's also first in speed at 77.7 miles per hour. There's not a lot of track after this. It only has one inversion, a sharp airtime hill, and some very big drawn out turns. The last helix goes around a very impressive dragon-themed rock before it hits the brakes. Even with the extra track of the multi-pass launch, it's only 7th place. Because of all that speed, it ranks up at 4th in pacing, right between the 2 clones, Redfire and iSpeed. We have a tie for 6th with 66 seconds. Let's start with Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, Virginia, USA. The newest coaster on this list looks very similar to Soaring with Dragon, but it's really quite different. It has the same multi-pass launch, but it goes with a different set of elements after. Instead of a non-inverting loop, it goes into a 178-foot top hat, ranking 4th. It's not as fast as Soaring with Dragon, but its 73-mile-an-hour top speed is still good for 2nd place. It's also not the longest ride, trailing Soaring with Dragon by about 30 feet, which is 8th place. But despite its high speed and short length, its pacing isn't that good. Covering 55 feet per second, it only comes in 10th place. It starts slow with the first launch and the 0G winder. It follows the slow top hat with a slow outer bank hill and a stall. I haven't ridden this yet, so I don't know if the slowness adds to the ride or not, but it seems like it would be better off with a little more speed. The other coaster in 6th place with 66 seconds is Maverick at Cedar Point, Ohio, USA. Maverick was a real trailblazer. Following an era where everyone was trying to smash records, Maverick proved a small, forceful ride could be elite. This was the first Blitz coaster, opening in 2007. It only has a 100-foot drop, ranking 11th, but that drop is at 95 degrees, so it packs a punch. Because of the mid-course launch, it hits a top speed of 70 miles per hour, tied for 5th. It's also the only coaster with a lift hill, albeit an LSM lift hill, but it's a slow launch, so I don't count this any different than a chain lift. I guess the Pythagorean theorem came into play after all. Taking out the lift, station, and the brakes, you lose more than 700 feet of track, so it's only 6 in length. It slows down a little bit for that mid-course launch, and that does hurt the pacing. For a coaster that otherwise rips through the course, it's only 8th on the list, landing right between Taiga and Steel Dolphin. In 5th place with 67 seconds is Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure, Florida, USA. This took the coaster world by storm in 2021, but it wasn't because of the gaudy stats. Its top hat is the tallest point of the ride at 155 feet, ranking 6th, and it has the same top speed as Maverick at 70 miles per hour, ranking 5th. People went crazy for Velocicoaster because of the elements and the theming. This has 2 launches, split up into 2 amazing sections, and that 4,300 feet of track is unmatched on the list. You also won't find a coaster that's better paced, clearing 64 feet per second, about a half a foot better than Nefeskessen. This is a long, well-balanced ride. 4 inversions, quirky elements, airtime moments. It's impressive all around. In 4th place with 69 seconds is Terran at Phantasialand, Brühl, Germany. The whole Klugheim section of the park is something special, and the rockwork around this ride makes it iconic. This ride is just a twisted mess. Just watching it, you never know which way the train's coming from. It has no inversions, just an insanely long ride with twists, turns, and airtime hills. It wants to stay low to the ground and take advantage of the theming, so it tops out at less than 100 feet and is second to last. Those 2 launches bring the speed up to almost 73 miles per hour, good for 4th, and it clears 4,000 feet of prime ride track, tied for 3rd. It's a bit surprising the pacing isn't better after watching the POV. It only ranks 6th and trails iSpeed by a quarter foot per second. In 3rd place with 76 seconds is All Speeds at Sunekland Chengdu, Chengdu, China. This is a near clone of Terran, but it is a little bit taller, and it's more open so you can see the layout. It's 12th in height and 3rd in speed, just barely topping Terran, and I have it with the same track length, so it's tied for 3rd. Given all this, it's crazy to see this has 7 more seconds of ride time than Terran. That's a big gap for a near clone, and this one apparently even goes faster than the original. Terran ranks 6th in pacing. All Speeds is all the way down at 11th. This trails Pantheon by about a half a foot per second. In 2nd place with 81 seconds is Light of Revenge at Happy Valley, Nanjing, China. This launches right into the Windcatcher Tower, where the train winds around slowly and really kills the pacing. After dropping off the tower, over 131 feet, which ranks 7th, it stays very low to the ground. It has 1 inversion, a 0G roll, and it takes a while to hit that booster launch to get the train back to the station, topping out at 60 miles per hour and tied for 11th. Not surprising, this is 12th in pacing. It does have almost 4,000 feet of prime ride track, good for 5th, and it gives one of the more mild rides on this list, despite the inversion. In 1st place with 87 seconds is Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens Tampa, Florida, USA. If you didn't figure it out yet, Light of Revenge is a near clone of Cheetah Hunt. It starts and ends just about the same, but there are parts in the middle that are different. Cheetah Hunt has the mid-course brake run, Light of Revenge doesn't. Light of Revenge also has more airtime moments. Still, they are about the same, but Cheetah Hunt is 6 seconds longer. It also covers more track, ranking 2nd. Reaches the same top speed at 60 miles per hour. Has a drop only about a foot shorter, good for 8th. And with the extra ride time, the pacing is a bit worse, ranking second to last. It's a nice mix of a family coaster and a thrill coaster. It has a very wide appeal. That's all for the world's Intamin Blitz Coasters, by the numbers. Let me know if anything here surprised you, or confirmed something you already knew. Given Terran's top speed and layout, I thought it would be near the top in pacing. I wasn't expecting this to be 6th and Velocicoaster first. I didn't think Velocicoaster had bad pacing, but I wouldn't have guessed it was number 1. I also figured Cheetah Hunt would be one of the worst paced coasters because of the Windcatcher Tower, and if it wasn't for that indoor coaster in Russia, that would be dead last. If you have any other thoughts on these coasters, sound off in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, give me a sub. I have a playlist with other videos in this format. Also, check out my links below for my Discord server, and my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage, and my baseball channel if you happen to love coasters and baseball like me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.